Okay, welcome back. So it gets easier after this, by the way. Even though that wasn't particularly complicated, was it? But it gets even more straightforward, at least in the way our system works. So I'm going to go back to my sequence now, just to sort of give you an idea of the stats behind this and why I'm doing it. So the main sequence I've got is Freedom Multiplier Requesters Take 2. That's because it took me a couple times to unscrew it up, for lack of a better word. And let me just show you some of the stats here. So as you can see, our sorting questions, because it was on day one and they had just opted in, huge response, right? Our next email, meh response, to use a technical term, but still pretty good, right? 87% open rate, 31.7% click-through rate. Insane. Now this one is a little bit different in the sense that I'm just asking them if they would like to attend a free class. And if they say yes, what I do now is, you see this little icon here? That means I'm sending them straight to a page. And then, of course, if they say stop messages, I unsubscribe them. So let me show you the other messages as well, and then we'll kind of follow it up from here. And notice I'm just sending one every day here for 4 days after they opt in. This one that says follow up is just, hey, just following up about the free class, about how to get leads for coaches and consultants. Would you like to come? Yes, no, or stop messages. If we look at the stats here on this one, we can see, come on, that we had 11% said yes, which is fantastic. And then if they did it, I gave them the link right here. And the other folks said no, etc. Of course, if they said no or stop messages, I unsubscribed them. And if they say yes, I unsubscribe them. So you'll notice our subscriber count is dropping, diminishing greatly here. It's because if they say yes, I take them out of this sequence and I put them on another sequence called requested free training, just like you and I did in the last video. On day 4 here, I send them another one. Would you like me to send you our internal training on lead gen for high-end sales? No charge. If they say yes, I just reply real quick with the link to it. And if they say no, I unsubscribe them. And finally, here's this one, which is, it's got a graphic and everything in there. I just created a new training that walks you through it. Would you like it? And they can click straight to it. Or if they say no, they're unsubscribed. So it's very, very basic, right? So let's build this for you. Okay, so I'll go back to sequences over here, and ours is called Demo for My Homies. So I'll click on this one, and I'll call this thing, if I can remember to save it, Day 2. And in this one right here, we're just going to say, we've created a great free training on how to burn fat and build muscle. Would you like it? Question mark. And the difference now is going to be the button functions. Okay, so in this case, I'll name my button, yes, thanks. And now, let me capitalize that. And now, instead of replying with a message, I'm going to open a website. Boom, like that. Notice, you see that little link there? And now here's where I would put our site, right? www.oursite.biz. Okay, hopefully that's not real. And because they're saying yes, I am going to unsubscribe them from this sequence, which is called Demo for My Homies. And I'm going to subscribe them to a new sequence called Homies Who Requested Free Training. The reason why is if I ever want to broadcast to people who have never requested the free training, now I can do it really easily, right? So I can just say, hey, let's send a broadcast to all these folks. And that's it. So I'll click on save here, and we're good. And I always like to give them the ability to opt out. So for the no, I'm just going to say no right here, and I'll reply with. You always have to reply or do one of these things, right? So in this case, I'll reply with a message, and I'll simply say, okay, smiley face, and I'll go back over here. So if they say no, I'm simply going to unsubscribe them altogether and click on save. And now that's very, very simple. And I'll click save here. Remember, always scroll down and click on save. One thing we want to do is we want to switch it over to published and make it live. You always want to do that, right? So we can continue doing the same thing. I won't walk you through all of them because they're all very basic. I sort of pulled mine out of the ethers. If we go back and we look at mine, I believe, let's just verify this with the numbers, I believe that giving them the ability to actually just click and get something, which is what we do in the invite day 2, which is what we just did. See where they say yes, thanks, and they can just get it right here. A really quick down and dirty message like that. I think that gets us the best result. Notice our second, look, we got our highest here, which is our sorting question. This is our second highest. This is our third highest. Notice that all of them are super brief, right? Would you like me to send you our internal training on lead gen for high-end sales? Yes, or stop messages. All right, so that's how I would recommend that you do yours. So let's just do one more, right? Just to sort of really drive it home here. Our sequence is called Demo for My Homies. So I'll say, next one right here. Come on. Come on, don't do this to me because I'm on camera. Come on, internet. Be messing with me, ManyChat. Trying to look cool. Okay, we'll call this one day 3. All right, and I'll just call this one, would you like me to send you our free training on burning fat quickly? If you can say such a thing and be compliant, right? And so I'll just simply add the button, which would say yes, please. Actually, yes, thanks. Okay, and in this case, I think it makes more sense just to open up a website, right? So we'll just go HTTP. If we don't fill it out all the way, it probably won't save. So google.com. All right, and of course, we will unsubscribe them from this sequence, which is Demo for My Homies, and we will subscribe them to the sequence called Homies Who Requested Free Training. Okay, so we'll click Save there, and then for the no, we'll simply say Stop Messages, because I don't want to be messaging them if they don't want them, right? I want to give them every opportunity to opt out, so okay, smiley face, and one more little thing. Our action is going to be to unsubscribe from bot completely. Alrighty, and so now always scroll down and press save. That's how they get you. Okay, and I will do this one. I'll say after 1 day, and I'll publish day number 3. See, so we're ready to go. So now we have a good, solid one. So what you can learn from mine is that our best response are quick one-word sentences, questions with a direct link to go get the stuff. That seems to work better. So I would recommend that you build your follow-up sequence just like that. Okay, so now that we have finished this, and we won't do the other days. Oh, there is one little trick though. If you're not going to have it active, a message active, you need to delete it like this, because there's a little bug, and if we have unpublished messages in a sequence, ManyChat won't always subscribe your people to that sequence. Ask me how I learned that one the hard way, right? So that's how we finish building the sequence. What we'll do now is we'll just come over to the second sequence we built, which is called Homies Who Requested Free Training. What do we do with these guys? Well, what I like to do is, I'm going to just delete some of these because we're not going to use them, is I like just to have one little follow-up in here and be super friendly because, hey, just because they said yes and clicked, of course, as you know, doesn't mean they actually did it. So in this case, I'm going to say, hey, and watch this. We can even personalize it. You see this? If I click that, I can say first name. Were you able to get the free training I sent you yesterday? Boom. All right, and now we can add the button. Yes, thanks. All right. And then we'll just reply with the message. Whoops. And our message will be something super friendly. Great. Hope you enjoyed it. Smiley face. All right, so that's super friendly. We don't need to do anything else there. We'll come back over here, and now if we said, they say no, whoops, press the wrong button there. Let's see. No, I didn't. They say, no, I didn't get it yet. What we can do is we can reply with a little message, and we can say, no worries, you can get it here. And we got two choices. We can put a link in here, right? Or we can add a little button they can click that'll take them straight to it. Give me my training. And if we do that, we can say open website and google.com. There we go. And we'll click on save. Right? So boom. Now we've got a nice little follow-up for them. And we can even do that for a couple days if we want to, right? So let me go back over here. I want to make sure that I save it, right? Save. There we go. And so that'll give us just another little thing, right? So that's why I sequence those guys out. So if they said yes in the first sequence, they're added to this sequence, and after a day, I'm going to follow up with them to make sure everything's cool, right? Super, super simple. Okay, so in our next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to build one of these opt-in pages that powers this whole thing, which is remarkably easy. Can't believe it, actually. Super awesome. Okay, so uno momento. I'll stop this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.